Welcome back. It's America Under Distress, America Under Siege. I thank you for all your support in the past. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get this video out because life got in the way. And the creepy music that I got in the background is getting a little too loud. I may have to turn that off. But this is creepy stuff. But this is real stuff. Remember I sent out a video about a little over a week ago about Operation Paperclip, the dark side of Yosemite and Camp Detrick, or Fort Detrick. These are the doctors that actually participated there, except for two of them. Two of them are at the end, which is Dr. Shiro Ishii, which is the director of the Unit 731 in Japan during the World War II. And Dr. Freisang, which is at the end of it, which is an aviation doctor, but I put him in this one as well. Remember, Operation Paperclip was a World War II program started in 1945 to end to about 1959. 1,600 scientists and technicians came here to work for the United States of America. The mere fact that they came over here is not the reason why we are here today. It's part of a policy change that I'll get into at the end of this video, and I'll even have a show talking about the shift in our policy post-World War II, prior to World War I. If you're new to this channel, I'm trying to talk about things that have changed the course of our country, that have affected our country, why I feel that this country is under siege. Every single aspect of our life in 6 categories. Check out the other videos. I'll come back to each one of the 6 again. Okay, here we go. The first doctor I have on this list is Dr. Hoffman. He's a paperclip person, came here. He participated on oxygen deprivation tests on human sacrifice. He worked with Gallie, which was in charge of MK Ultra, he's linked to MK Ultra. MK Ultra is an unbelievable program that has been proven that it existed. A lot of MK Ultra is still classified because his stuff is unbelievably scary stuff. Okay, Gallie was in charge of MK Ultra. He was actually at Nazi Germany and in the United States, Cancer Research and Associates, Kempfrofil, with the Nazis and with the United States about cancer research, but it really wasn't cancer research. He worked with several projects. He's been linked to several projects, which is attempted assassination of Castro, Operation Northwoods. Check out the other video. Northwoods, I'll just briefly go over. Northwoods was basically a program that would deliberately attack targets in the United States and blame it on the KGB and blame it on the Soviet Union. Operation Midnight Climax, which part of is a subgroup of MK Ultra. Operation Mongoose, which was trying to defoliate and big attempts to go after Castro and crops and all those things like that. So he's been linked to those. Number 2 is Major General Walter Schreiber. He's a liaison to IG Farben, and that means Zyklon B. I just put out a video, a little clip or a promo about Zyklon B. That is the gas that killed over 1.1 million people in Auschwitz and Birkenau. And there's Zyklon B was used at several other camps, but that's the biggest one. And I have another show that's coming right after this on the promo that I sent earlier, is about the use of the chemical Zyklon B, which is Zyklon B when you mix the chemicals together in Arizona in 2020. That blew me away when I was doing the research for that. Walter Schreiber, chemist, he was an epidemiologist. He's a chemist. He's the one who started the intravenous lethal fentanyl injections. The drug fentanyl is a very potent, very dangerous narcotic. He said this, in quotes, "A quick way to kill a troublemaker." He also been linked to MK Ultra. He was invited to Walter Reed Army Hospital in the early days. He came in through Operation Paperclip. Get this, September 17th, 1951, on USNS General Morose. On the manifest, they were called, him and his family, his wife and his son, paper clips. I found that in a couple sources, so I thought that was interesting. I will come back to these scientists and where they worked, okay, and what they did for the Nazi government and the United States government, and what camps did they work in. And I just wanted to re-emphasize that we let these people here. We let them here. Otto Ambros. Otto Ambros is a chemist. He's actually the co-discoverer of sarin gas. I showed you a video about an actual test on animals of sarin gas. He's also helped create mustard gas, taboo gas, which means taboo in Germany. He tested all these gases on live subjects. He was sent to Operation Paperclip in 1947 to Charles E. Locke's Edgewood Arsenal for off-the-books research. Off the books, there's no record. I found that in 2 sources. I'm just saying it. Remember, I check everything out for at least 10 to 15 to 20 sources. I've done a lot of research on Operation Paperclip. I've checked multiple sources to make sure what I'm sending you is true, that I found. Please check it out yourself. He's been linked to working with the CIA. He actually worked with Otto Ambros, worked at Auschwitz III. Okay? He also was an advisor to, get this, Dow Chemical. There's a couple other people that have been advisors to Dow Chemical and some other places too, okay? Which will blow you away as well. The next one is Kurt Bloom. He was in charge of all biological warfare for the Nazis during World War II. He's been linked as a liaison between Dr. Shiro Ishii, which is the director of 731. He worked at Auschwitz. He was a member of the U.S. Chemical Corps as well. He also worked for Project 63, which was a sub-project of the MK Ultra. He's been linked to that as well. He actually put bubonic plague and cattle plague and other forms of plague into live subjects and tested vaccines on them during World War II and here. Wow. Next page. Number 5 is actually Eric Traub. He's a virologist and a microbiologist, a doctor of veterinary medicine. He weaponized render posts. If you look at several rankings on YouTube and on the internet, most worst, bad, whatever adjective or verb you want to call it, diseases, render post is on the top 10. Which is actually a cattle plague. He also is known for Newcastle's disease. He's also known for foot and mouth disease. He's been linked to Unit 731. He's also worked at Plum Island, which is supposedly Lab 257 biological weapons. He's denied it, and some sources have denied that, but it's still on the internet and you can check it. But there's several sites that actually say yes, he did. Number 6, which is Jürgen von Klemm. He was the director of Chemical C, which stands for Chemical for Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler. During the interviews that I've checked out online in Operation Paperclip by Annie Jacobson, and then about 6 or 7 other sources, so it's not just from her book, which I have, but is that he gave so much information to Paperclip scientists, American scientists to Paperclip. We had to have him over here, or the United States had to have him over here. Number 7, Conrad Schaefer. He's a psychologist, a chemist. He came up with a method to separate salt from salt water, and for seawater emergencies. But he used taking the salt water out of seawater and injecting it in live subjects during torture. He worked at Dachau, okay, which is actually the first concentration camp. That started in 1933, went till 1945. That was the training ground for many of these scientists. They would go to Dachau and they would go somewhere else. I have clips from Dachau that are tours that you can go on to, so that's going to be sent to you very soon as well. Many of the Dachau experiments were based on this technique of separating salt from salt water. It's called the Schaefer process. He was tried at Nuremberg trials and was acquitted. Dr. Hermanbecker Freisack. He was an aviative physiologist under Dr. Struckold at Dachau. Dachau, this guy was not through USAMRIID or Fort Detrick or Camp Detrick. It It was just another one that I put in here mainly because he worked at Dachau. And I'm going to show a clip from Dachau in the next coming videos. This one is not a member of Operation Paperclip. This one is Dr. Shiro Ishii. He's the director of 731. He's been linked to two of these scientists, and that's why I put him in here. And I had this book, Unit 731. I thought a preface sounded interesting. I love reading things about World War II, and by the time I was done reading it, it blew me away. He's in the same category as Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was the worst because he deliberately tried to kill 6 million Jews. And the reason why I'm constantly talking about all these experiments and things like that is not to disrespect anybody. We need to never, ever forget this stuff. When you target a race, when you target a group of people for extermination or trouble or torture or slander, libel, whatever you want to call it, that is not acceptable in this country. Let's get back to Dr. Shiro Ishii. The program started as a way to promote the benefit of the Japanese soldier. In other words, what the human body can stand or handle. But he tested Chinese citizens before the communist Chinese. He also tested on US POWs to see what the body can handle. These are some of the things that he did. Hunger, how the body fights disease, by any means necessary. He starved them. He put them through extreme heat. He put them through extreme cold. He bombarded them with x-rays. He put them in giant centrifuges. He boiled them alive. He dissected them alive. Dr. Shiro Ishii, at the end of World War II, was not prosecuted, and General Douglas MacArthur denied that this project ever existed, which now we know that it did exist. I am still having a hard time finding a clip about 731. This is pretty gruesome, and I'm not going to send out a video that's been produced by CGTV, which is a Chinese-owned company. I'm not going to propagate their propaganda. Okay, when it comes down to it, were these things necessary? No. You can't accept this kind of treatment, even to your enemy. Remember, Dr. Freisag and Shiro Ishii was not through Paperclip. I want to make sure that is well known, but basically I put them in here because of where they work and what they did. Because they are evil scientists. There's actually a lot more of them. Operation Paperclip, in some circles, brought us benefit. There's people that actually believe that because of the space race and Dr. Werner von Braun. And I'm going to have a short little clip of Werner von Braun later, but where he tested the V1 and the V2. The V is the vengeance bomb that led to Saturn's red stones and the missile program that we use to get to the moon, and the missiles we use today. That's where it came from. But he got all those weapons at Nordhausen concentration camp. I have a public domain video that I'm going to send out over that as well. Thousands of people died just in the mountains where the town of Nordhausen, Germany. Why did the U.S. government allow these experiments to happen? Why did the U.S. government allow these experiments to happen? These programs like Ultra, Mongoose, just to fight communism? There's an old statement in history circles, power corrupts absolutely. But when you allow these people to continuously get away with stuff, they become, nothing's going to happen to me. That's what they think. The same thing goes for politicians, okay? Camp Detrick and Fort Detrick and Yosemite, and especially in the beginning of Camp Detrick, on that one video I sent you, had the same secrecy as the Manhattan Project. And everybody knows what the Manhattan Project is, which is getting the atomic bomb. Same secrecy. Nobody thought the United States government was building an atomic weapon. Nobody thought the United States government was building and collecting and building and weaponizing these unbelievably nasty, lethal gases. It's caused, these projects and these front companies have caused massive problems in this country today. And to me, I want to put this information out to you people so that you know what's happened in the past so we can learn from the past. You do your research, you'll find the same stuff I did. Okay? How do we allow these people in our country when they should have been tried for war crimes? Fighting communism? I'm all for fighting communism. Spent 8 years in the Marine Corps, I'm all for that. But testing these gases and these poisons on human beings and no repercussions for that? No. And this comes to why, I'm going to briefly go to what I said in the beginning of the video. Why are we doing these things? Short and sweet, there'll be a show about that, like I said before. Short and sweet, our policies changed post-World War II. Towards the end of World War II and after World War II, we did not treat the world, we did not act the same way as we did before World War II. Our thinking, our attitude totally changed. We had to fight communism because that was decided by the powers that be, which is actually Democratic President Truman. And that was followed through Republican President Eisenhower. That was followed by Democratic President JFK. As we go, they're both Republican and Democrat here. And why do we always listen to career politicians? Why do we always listen to career workers? I say workers because I put Dr. Fauci in another video. He's a career worker. He's been there for 30, 40 years in the 80s. It's 2021. Why? Because they're experienced? People are human beings. They make mistakes. And when you've been in that power so long, it goes to your head. Most people, okay? Why are we always electing people that are career politicians like Pelosi, Schumer, McCarthy, McConnell? It's time for you to let somebody else in here with a different frame of mind. The reason why we never change our frame of mind and our mentality is they stay there. Pelosi's been there too long. She's been in power too long. Mitch McConnell has been in power too long. He's there forever. This has got to stop. You wonder why kids don't trust older people? It's because you keep doing the same things. And you will not separate your party from your beliefs. You won't separate your party from what you personally believe in. Oh, okay, I got to support this guy because he or she's a Democrat. No! He or she supports this guy or this woman because he's a Republican. They're a Republican. No. Issue-based voting. You've got to get people into office that actually take care of your problems, not just a party. Before I close this video, I'm going to say very closely, while I was doing the research for this video and other shows that I've done in the past, about a week ago, a little over a week ago, I found this story about Arizona. He's going to refurbish their gas chambers. And they're going to they bought the chemicals that is Zyklon B. That is the gas that was used in Auschwitz and Birkenau. I just felt I had to do a show on that. I tried to get pictures so I could put it in a video, but you cannot use pictures from inside death row. I got one picture of a gate outside of a prison because it wasn't public domain, which means you can use those things. But I only got one or two videos, but I'm going to make do commentary on that, which blew me away that they're actually going to use those chemicals in the gas chamber. I'll tell you my opinion about the death penalty in that show. Thank you for putting up with me. I got this one out here finally, and it'll be out sometime today. I appreciate your patience. The journey continues. You're in store for a lot of creepy stuff down the road, but all these things that I'm putting out here did happen. They did happen. Thank you for your support. Check out the scholarships that are tax deductible in the description. Check out Support Wounded Warrior Project for America Under Distress, America Under Siege. Check out Useful Charts, which I do a lot of research for that. I did the research for Joe Biden's family tree based on that. Kamala Harris's family tree based on that. So, hope you enjoyed it. like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be getting into a new topic pretty soon. I'm going to be getting off of Paperclip in about 3 or 4 videos because I want to go on to something else because I've kind of been concentrating on this for too long. Thank you. I'll see you soon.